So we're going to keep the show going. Coming up next, we have Anto Chan. Anto is a spoken word performance artist, a writer, facilitator, entrepreneur, speaker, producer, and caregiver. He performs his one-person show, Love So Far, at the Montreal Fringe Festival in 2019. He was featured on Guelph Poetry Slam, Hong Kong Comedy Festival, and the CBC's The National. He currently co-curates and hosts the variety show Free Flow Showcase, and his poetry chapbook, Romantic Reflections, was released in 2020. He also facilitated events at the Art Gallery of Mississauga's Border Crossing Project, Richmond Hill Canada Day, and the City of Toronto Street Art Program. He's passionate about mentoring the next generation of artists to overcome personal obstacles, leading to sharing their stories authentically. His life's work is to create and support meaningful art that centers around the journey of growth, self-love, and healing intergenerational trauma. He has recently started studying expressive art therapy with Create Institute and enjoys the Toronto Raptors, skateboarding, and adventures in nature. Put your hands together for Anto Chan.
All right, thank you so much, Rondell. That was amazing to be able to be introduced by you, because we've been doing this for how many years now. It's just incredible that we've made it. That's what it feels like, you know. Whenever I come and do Rise, I feel like I made it. You know, there's just something so special about the environment. I really want to quickly just highlight how many spaces we've gone to. Like, one of the first ones I went to was at Scarborough Town Center. And one of the best parts about that was that behind every performer, so just imagine here, there's an actual mirror behind me. And as I was preparing and trying to go through my poem or trying to remember something, like whatever was going on, I saw myself in the mirror as the performer was sharing, and I noticed that I wasn't listening at all. I was literally just in my poem, I was in my performance, and I didn't at all listen, right? And then I went on stage, and I looked at every single one of the people that was in that audience, and not one of those people were distracted. They were so engaged, so connected, so listening to everything that I was doing. And I realized that I had made a mistake, pretty much. I needed to actually start listening. And that was actually the first time that I was able to call myself in, give myself that love, and Rise actually changed my entire perspective of performance at that point. You know, there was a much more cocky mentality, thinking how important my show was, and then I wasn't actually listening to who it was that was on that stage. So I just wanted to say a huge gratitude to Rise for helping me reflect in my life, helping me actually grow. And now it's at a point, a decade later, a decade of decadence, that's what it is. Like, so much gratitude to Rise. So just give lots of love to Rise and yourselves for being here and supporting, even if you're behind the screen, yeah. I really appreciate that. So the first piece that I wanted to share, this year and the last couple of years has been a lot of intense moments. One of the things that was really important was I had many people come to me and ask me what they were supposed to do during the Stop Asian Hate movement. And for myself, a lot of times it's hard to have some of these dialogues, so I end up writing it into poems. So this is the piece called Stop Asian Hate. 3:33 in the morning. Another restless night, mindless, scrolling through my head. This marching voice, stop Asian hate, stop Asian hate, stop Asian hate, stop Asian hate. But I can't even stop hating myself. Of the parts of me I despise, the surface is the last to get to. Confused, conflicted, distorted reality, uncertain identity. Chinese school, soccer team, teacher's pet, jumping from one circle to another, begging to be accepted, to be seen, acknowledged, but never doing that for myself. The intergenerational trauma, I feel it in my bones. The scars from customs I never grew accustomed to, stunting my growth, keeping me childish, but fighting for innocence, grateful for this cognizance, but what the f do I do with awareness? It's part of my crisis. I want to do so much to guide the next generation, the kids born into a country of complacency. This avatar of lineage who just want to spread their wings before they're clipped, claimed for corporates, falling into line, this marching madness, mechanical, malleable, manageable, monolith, model minority. Am I talking about it enough? Posting enough? Caring enough? Angry enough? Sharing enough? Am I fighting enough? Donating enough? Acknowledging the victims enough? Why am I so selfish to make this about me? Could I have done more to prevent this? How did I contribute to this? Brushing aside these aggressions, the macro, the micro, the complacency, laughing along, begging to be accepted, taking out my anger on my own people, these jokes about bad driving and small eyes and normalized and scrutinized, trivialized and racialized and victimized, this hatred for myself, these jagged judgments is one piece of the puzzle, this Asian identity, the mosaic of human condition, a drop in the pool of persistence. I need to keep swimming into love. My inner child, this Ninja Turtle floaties, the pool noodle fights, this young boy who needs nurturing. The dawn of days, mending yesteryear's memories, magical imperfections embraced. It's 3:34 in the morning. Releasing the protest pen, the painted signs, exhausted from responding, invigorated by purpose. Together we stop Asian hate. Stop Asian hate. Stop Asian hate. Stop Asian hate. This is how I contribute. This step will acknowledge the inner child of the reticent, drifting in desperation, angry that we can't do more, but we're still here. We're still here. We're still here. And that's enough. So being Chinese is definitely something that I have had like a love-hate relationship with. You know, growing up, it's always challenging because people feel as if like they could make fun of you, and then I would just make fun of myself before everybody else can. And one of the things that really came up was that I had this disconnect from my own language, my family's language. We actually speak Cantonese. Cantonese is literally the most difficult language in the entire world. There's 9 tones, okay? English has 5. Mandarin, the other Chinese language, has 5. So that's the simple language. So Cantonese is the complicated one, okay? So let me break down how hard it is. The word gao, that means 9. The word gao, that means dog. The word gao, that means bother. The word gao, that means teach. The word go, that means tall. The word gao, that means dumpling. The word gao, that means enough. So you could actually say, gao, gao, go, go, gao, gao, be, gao, 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 gao. That's a sentence, guys. That's an actual sentence that you would say. You know, so if you ever had 9 tall dogs that were bothering you, get an old dumpling, is that enough? That's how you would say it, just in case if that ever happened to you in your life. Imagine that, though, like an actual 9 dogs coming. You're like, I have leftover dumplings. Like, that would be crazy. But if that ever happens, now you know it in Cantonese. But the person who always helped me the most with my Cantonese was my mom. And it was always hard because Chinese school was Saturdays, so I was like getting my ass whooped on Friday, you know, because I was just not actually doing the homework I needed, and I was like just practicing by like trying to cheat off the kids off of me, you know, in class, you know. But she always helped me so much, and like, you know, in Chinese culture, I'm sure many people experience this. Saying I love you is not like a normal thing that just like comes out, right? Like I've had to go through years of multiple, many sessions of therapy to be like, you know what, like I need to start telling the people that in my life that I love them, you know? So I started telling my mom that I love her, and that was super awkward for many years, right? Like she never said it back, right? I remember the first time I said it out loud, I was like, you know what, this is the moment. I'm gonna say I love you to my mom. This is do it. Whatever, I don't remember the conversation, and at the end of it, I was like, Mom, just want you to know that I love you. Just right into her eyes, letting her know, you know, this like powerful moment that I just envisioned for years of therapy for this exact moment. And she says to me, okay. Do you want me to cut you some fruit? And I was like, yeah, actually, I would love some fruit. Oh, God. You know, I was like so, it felt embarrassing a bit, right? And then over the years, she would say like LU in in like conversations, written conversations, or she would say like it back a little bit, but not really. And then so I remember one time I was on a date, and my date was over, and it was just like we were tongue wrestling, whatever you want to call it, and it was just like great moment. And I get a random call. It's like 7 p.m. or something. Nobody calls me after like 6 p.m., right? Not even those air duct guys. They don't even call me after 6 p.m., Like, I don't know if you guys ever get those air duct guys, but my favorite was one time the guy called me, and then he's like, air duct cleaning, and I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are selling air duct cleaning? Like, I was looking for you guys. And he was like, really? And I was like, no. And I hung up on him. So I was like, oh, okay, I know it's my mom calling me. So I'm like, okay, I'll just wait, it's fine. And my date was like, no, go and talk to her. It's okay, no problem. It might be an emergency, something like that. So I go and I pick up the phone, and my mom was like, oh, you're coming home next week, and just started rattling off all these things to like worry about, right? Oh, make sure you get your tires changed. Make sure that you do all these different things, like your windshield wiper fluid, all this stuff. Like, and I was just like, okay, mom, like I'm on a date. Like I just need to get going. Like this is not the best time for this. I'll call you back tomorrow. And then she's just like, okay, and I hung up. And I was like, oh my gosh, was she about to just say it? Was she about to tell me that she loves me? Like, what's going? So I like go back out to my date, and then she's just like, what happened? What do you guys talk about? I was like, I think my mom was gonna tell me that she loves me for the first time. And then my date's like, go call her back, figure it out. So I call my mom back, and she's just like, I'm like, Mom, what were you going to say at the end of the conversation? And she's like, oh, I don't really remember. I was like, come on, like, what were you going to say? And then she's like, oh, make sure that you shovel your driveway, because if someone's walking by and they fall on it, they're going to sue you and you're going to jail. I was like, what? No, what were you going to say? You're going to tell me that and then she didn't say it that night. And I was like, oh, I was so disappointed, right? I was so sad about that. And then I ended up like going back out and talking to my date, and then my date's like, oh man, that's like so sad. Like, and then I felt it in my heart. I said to my date, I was like, are you going to tell me you love me tonight? And then she was like, well, no. I was like, I think you got to go home, Like, it's just, that was the end of the date. Like, I wasn't going to stay. I don't know. I just like, it was like, I gave her like food to go and stuff. I was like, I'll call you, but I'm just like too emotional. I'm too emotional right now, right? It's emotional, right? And then recently, I went home to visit my mom, and there was just like a lot of things going on, and there was like a big health scare. And I remember like being able to connect with my mom on this like deeper level. She finally said like, I love you first to me, because of this like she's challenged with this worry that she had, I guess. And she said, I love you to me, and I had been waiting for like a while, and I knew exactly what I was going to say to her, but then I like panicked in the moment, and I was like, okay, could I cut you some fruit? All right, I said I loved you back. I was trying to be cool. Man, this has been so fun, by the way. Rise is just one of those things. There's just such a vibe about the space. I really appreciate you guys inviting me for tonight. One of the things that I always remember about Rise is that there's so many new people that come through, and there's so many, but the energy and the vibe is always the same. And I think it's important to just give us, it really is just the core people who keep coming back, and like just being able to be here is just a reminder of how grateful I am to have communities and spaces like this. So this final piece, it is about my legacy and what it is that I want. I don't know if anybody's ever thought about after they pass, what does that look like? So this piece is actually called From the Hearse. This love I've lived has ended with another celebration. My family has ensured that my time here on earth is being honored. This embalming fluid inside of me to hold one last image of me. I told them I didn't want to wear a tie, my collar open, letting my heart be easily accessible, even though they've removed that from my body already. I didn't donate my organs, I thought about it, and the lives I could have saved, but I chose to keep my body private. In my passing, the time was exactly when it was supposed to go. Tissues and handkerchiefs, sniffles and crying out. I wish my parents could see this. How many people I've impacted. How many inside jokes we hold together. I'm really hyped to hear the speeches. I told them to make it an open mic. Don't hold back. Even have someone start it all with, He was a quiet man, and start laughing. Have the crowd hooting and hollering. There will be puns, so much wordplay, just all day. A lot of people with dad jokes and dad stories, which will feel sad, but only because they're in past tense. The stories themselves will be moments in time that serendipity held so tightly. The free spirit who came around, what my lasting legacy will be. Coming from damaged child of Canadian dream, this privilege promises made to my parents, Louis and Doris, the brother of Maggie and John, uncle to Maddie and Cassius, father to multiple beautiful children. I get worried about this part, wondering if I'll ever be a father. I know I'm a poet dad, giving birth and nurturing to so many incredible creators, artists, performers, but the fear of repeating the mistakes of my parents paralyzes me. It holds me fearfully, terrorizes me guiltily. But then I realized they did the best that they could. Just like I did the best that I could. The light shone down through the temple, sun brilliant as Ming Teen, the sky bright as can be, these sunglasses warm sweating. I wouldn't want everyone to wear ties either. I want there to be weed permitted too. I'd have probably quit years ago, but my friends should be nice and toasty, consume at their own pace, love in their own space. Family doesn't judge that way. And I wish to be held wholly, come exactly as they are. That's who would want to come to the beginnings, to look in the mirror and know whatever clothing they're wearing, however they're presenting is enough. You are enough. I am enough. And as the never-ending hot mic is being burned, I'd wish my parents could see the rebels and weirdos and lovers and queerdos that arrived and flourished, the stage set in my passing, so we're on our way to the burial. And this Hearse is blasting emo music, then Disney, then random podcasts. It's just all over the place, just like me. And I asked the drivers, swerving just a little bit, smoothly breaking the rules just enough, arriving at the burial site for one last goodbye. But I'd already said everything I needed when I was alive. I would have fought to stay in this body so I could keep writing, tapping away at the typewriter, by my bedside, the hospital making the exception, the cars flowing behind, this rainbow of colorful characters surrounding my box. One final time, someone close sings with a guitar. Friends and family sing along, carried over to the patch I'm given, lowered into the soil. I always wondered how my life would be different at 6 feet. Who would have known that I'd be dead before that happened? And the irony is that I didn't even iron my shirt for my own funeral. But this was fun. Every other one I went to were painful, pausing, and penance. So I hope if I left anyone with arguments or hesitancy, they feel free from this as the dirt being piled over me. All I ever wanted was to be dashed, quoted. I'd want someone to read this poem so it's super meta, the overanalyzing as it's happening. Someone will say, "That's so Anto." And these hugs and kisses, maybe a couple mistresses, a little drama would be nice. But ultimately, flowers falling, these holding on, will hear someone strongly say, "So, let's go eat." It'll remind them of my grandparents' funerals in the best ways, the legacies of family fortune, the wholesome holding of space, but with the twist of come as you are. I died in peace because I loved fully, letting those I care about know they are important to me through memes and moments, messages and memories, manageable and magical. I lived in art, expressing myself until the last moments, holding space even in death to create consciously, unconsciously. There was no one else like me. That's what they'll say. And man, this guy, he loved to play. Thank you guys so much for having me. What a celebration to be here at Rise again. Absolutely loved my time here. And just a huge thank you again to Randall for just being such an amazing ambassador for artists in general and just that open creativity. So thank you guys again. Good night. Peace.
All right, y'all. That was Anto Chan, a.k.a. Anto Punfu. Hope you enjoyed yourself. You got a chance to laugh, a chance to really reflect on legacy, but also reflect on what does the word I love you mean? And also, who do you want to let know that you love as this year is about to end? I really appreciated that set and what he was able to bring to the stage for today.